It's for my vlog, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I just want to preface by saying I apologise for the way that I look right now. My face is quite flushed and my hair is a bit messy because we just got back from the beach. Had a heat wave the past weekend, which has been so nice, and today is like one of the final days of the heat wave, so we made the most of it, especially because I had a day off and we went to the beach, which is probably what you saw before this. Really nice. I did some reading, writing, I went swimming in the sea. That's why I look the way I look right now, so just ignore that, move past it. This week's vlog is going to be a couple of days of writing. I wanted to do a writing vlog because I do definitely want to make this channel quite writing centered, amongst other things as well, but I do want to share my writing on this channel, so I decided to make this into a writing vlog. Though you might not have seen much of it in the previous clips as I didn't really film as much as I wanted to. I did do some writing today on the beach. So before we get into the video, I just thought I would cut in here and explain what exactly it is I'm working on currently. Current project is a gothic romantasy. I'm on the first draft of my project called Project.lyra. I name all of my projects after the main characters, so this project is called Project.lyra, my last project was called Project Matilda, like that kind of thing. And this is my first ever time writing a full draft of a fantasy book. Around nearly 50% of the way through it, I want to say. I think I'm around the 35 to 40% mark, and I'm really enjoying the writing process so far, although it has been tricky just the past week or so with the things that I'm writing about. For anyone that's into fantasy of any kind, know that the world building is always the most difficult part, not only to write about but also I think to read as well. It's quite a lot to take in, and so trying to navigate that in this first draft without like info dumping has been quite hard. To summarise, this book is about a girl who is raised in silence within a religious kingdom, and she soon discovers that the magic in her voice can change the kingdom forever. A lot of like gothic, dark, religious elements to this story, and I've been finding it super fun and interesting to kind of delve into that. I'm actually really interested in gothic, feminist, religious literature. That was a lot of the literature that I was most interested in when I did it in A-level and GCSE. It was what the themes I was most drawn to. So I really wanted to incorporate that into this book, whilst also making it something about a girl who is not really like already a strong female character that I feel like, you know, Aelin is in Throne of Glass. But at the core of this book, I actually really wanted to write a story about a girl whose voice is taken away from her. Well, I guess she's never really had it in the first place, and what it means for her voice to be her main source of power. You know, when you're just like having a really fun time writing something, and it feels really special, not so much on like this grand scale, but more so for you personally. That's how I've been feeling writing this project, and it's been really nice. I've been really enjoying it, and so I feel like that's what matters most within this writing process. Whilst I was at the beach, I was actually working on the first ever combat scene within the book. It's been quite tricky, just like I'm much more of like a atmospheric writer. Like I like writing the banter moments and the atmosphere kind of thing. The action I actually find quite difficult, like describing movements and describing expressions and things like that I find quite difficult. Draft one for me is all about discovery and figuring things out, the way that I want my characters to sound and the way that I want places to look and the beats, and finding the story. That's why I actually write a lot of my first draft in a notebook, because I'm such a perfectionist that if I write on a computer I find it way more distracting, because it's obviously very easy to delete what you've written and then retype, but with a notebook I find it much easier, as it's just like a flowing kind of free write situation. Anyway, over the next couple of days I just want to show you guys what it's like to write and the times that I write and things like that, and what I'm going to be writing. So I'll be sharing with you different clips and updating you as well. Over the next couple of days I also have work, so I think it would be quite fun and interesting for you guys to see how I write around my job. Yeah, I hope this all made sense. I'm gonna literally struggle so bad editing this. Anyway, I hope that all made sense. I feel like I just chucked a load of information out, and that's not really how it works. But anyway, without me saying much more, let's just get into it. Hi guys, so update. I've just been sat in bed writing chapter 26 and I finished it. I wrote up the scene that I wrote on the beach, and then continued writing until I finished the chapter. And I basically finished the scene that I was struggling with. It's not the best, it's quite repetitive, but in terms of like reactions and things, but the point is it's done, it's there, and it's better than it not being there. But it's basically a scene where two of my characters, or one of my main characters and then this mythical kind of creature, have a duel, and that was like one of my first times writing a fight sequence, so that was interesting. Something I really struggle with writing is prose. I'm 100% much more of a plotter, or like I like coming up with the scenes than I do like making beautiful kind of prose. And I'm so jealous of the people that are into like making prose, like can just rattle them out. Seeing people do that, like they're just so good at writing prose. Whereas I just will write like a Biff and Chip novel. My first draft will basically be like Biff and Chip style sentences. And then in draft 2, I'll go in and try and make it better. But I'm trying to improve my prose. Once I finish this first draft, I really want to go into researching and reading about prose and like tone and things like that, things that I didn't really like about English. I want to read books that will help me with that, and I found a couple actually that I have on my Amazon wish list that I plan to get, but I'm only going to get them once this first draft is over, because I know that if I obsess over prose now I just won't get anything written. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I'm going to stop there for today and do some more writing tomorrow, but overall I'm very happy with my progress. I actually have reached over 50,000 words, so I'm on 52,000 words, which is so great. And I think this might be the longest any kind of thing that I've ever written, because it's 52,000 words and I'm not even at the midpoint yet. Chapter 26 is also concluded like a section of the story, or like not an act, but like a section. It's like the conclusion of a section of the journey that these characters go on. So now we're going into the next part of the journey, and this part that I am going to be writing, I'm really excited to be writing, because I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. It kind of goes into more kind of darker taboo elements in terms within the scale or the scope of which the story is being told, if that makes any sense. I'm really looking forward to writing these next couple of chapters, which is such a great feeling when you're writing. You always want to be excited. So yeah, but I'm gonna finish that today and then continue into tomorrow. It's Friday and I'm actually in my pajamas already and it's like 6:30. I got back from work and I went on a run, and now I'm going to be doing some writing. I actually haven't done any writing the past 2 days because I've been quite tired, to be quite honest, and I haven't really felt motivated to write anything, but I feel a lot more motivated today, especially because I've been reading a lot these past few days, and so I want to do a little reading update for you guys. I don't want to go into too much detail just because I do want to do like a full mid-year reading wrap-up type thing. I want to share with you some of the books that I've been reading, or the books I'm currently reading. So the book I just finished literally yesterday was Iron and Embers by Helen Shura. I have no idea how to pronounce this last name. Helen Shura. No, I don't know. I'll put her name here so you can see. I rated this 3 stars. I liked it. I thought it was a fast-paced read. Like, it's 500 pages, but I feel like I read it pretty quick. So it's very digestible. I found out this was actually a trilogy that was part of another trilogy, so this is like the second trilogy, if that makes sense. I rated this 3 stars because I didn't really like the characters very much. Maybe it's because I need to read the first trilogy to get a bit more background on them. I was kind of hoping that this would be able to stand on its own, and I guess to some people it might, but to me personally, I just didn't really enjoy the main characters. Like, sorry, my phone cut out. I don't think I'll continue with the trilogy as of right now. I don't think it's intrigued me enough to read any of the other books, but I really enjoyed the writing and the fast-paced style of it. It was also dual POV, which is, personally, I really enjoy dual POV from time to time. But yeah, so the current 2 books I'm reading one on my Kindle and one physical. The book that I'm currently reading is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I've heard such good things about this book, and I'm 25 pages into it and I'm already really enjoying it. I'm loving the vibes, to be honest, most of all, but also just like, I've never really read anything like this, and I know I'm only 25 pages in, but I just have been finding it like such a unique miss. And I feel like Rachel Gillig in the Shepherd King duology, I haven't read the second one yet, I still need to read that, but I also found that quite a unique idea, so I'm excited to get more into this and, to be honest, read more of her work. I feel like I am gonna be a fan of this book. And also, look at the sprayed edges. Isn't that so cool? Like, I'm not even a massive fan of sprayed edges. This cover in general is just really amazing, but I'm not usually a fan of sprayed edges, but this is so delightful. And on my Kindle, I'm currently reading, oh, it's upside down. I'm currently reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Reading in my classical Gothic literature era. I read Gothic literature for A-level, and I think because my current book, because it's a Gothic inspired book, I have been really wanting to read more Gothic literature, and so I decided to read Rebecca because I really want to get into modern classics and just classics in general. And I recently read The Handmaid's Tale and I really enjoyed it, so I'm trying to like ease myself into classics with starting out with modern classics and then maybe going deeper in. But I've always really loved Gothic literature, I think because of like the whole dark and taboo nature of it. I've always found it interesting since I studied it at school. So yeah, I'm really enjoying reading Rebecca so far, and yeah, I've been taking my time with that because I've only been reading it like a couple pages every night. So those are my reading updates. I now want to give like a writing update. As I said, I haven't really written much the past couple of days. I've been quite hectic. It's been quite hectic with work and things like that. But today I really want to get a writing session in. I actually was thinking on the bus today as I was coming home and I was reading The Night and the Moth, so I really want to go darker with my writing and the atmosphere and the overall vibes. And in my head I keep thinking like, oh, I can do that in draft 2, but I think I just want to start now, even though we're like 40% of the way through draft 1, which is technically a discovery draft. I always forget that you can just do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be like systematic when it comes to drafting. Quite a like chronological, systematic writer, I guess. But I think with this writing session that I'm going to do now, I'm going to experiment a little bit more with going a bit darker. I say darker as in like it makes it sound like, but I mean more like Gothic, and really honing in and leaning into those Gothic vibes that I've been reading myself. The plan for this session is to start my next chapter. I think it's chapter 27 that I'm starting, and experiment a little bit with going deeper into the Gothic genre and the overall vibes. So I'm gonna end today's video here. I really hope you enjoyed watching. I actually did a lot of writing today because I had a day off from work, so I got a lot done. I managed to write the rest of chapter 27, and now I'm going into chapter 28, and I'm like halfway through it, I think. So yeah, I'm making some really good progress this week despite having a little bit of a writing, I don't want to say slump, but maybe a bit of a pause in the midweek. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm actually considering making a book Instagram account, low pressure kind of one, nothing too crazy, So just to like share some of more of my like bookish kind of thoughts and the books that I'm reading and things like that. But I'm not too sure yet because I get quite overwhelmed with Instagram. I just feel like it's a little bit more exposing. I don't know. I might do that. When I do, I'll probably link it in the description below. Hopefully this video wasn't too repetitive, or no, it was quite a rambly writing vlog, and I just wanted to be as realistic as possible with how I fit in my creativity with my everyday life, which is mostly just work and doing like exercise and things like that, and other things. But yeah, I try to fit in writing wherever I can, even if it's like 5 minutes, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, for me personally, working on the same project. I feel like it's good to split things up and spread your creativity wherever you want to. So I tend to either write letters, do some journaling, work on my project, or just do personal writing, which I feel like is something that I haven't really been doing as much lately, just because I feel like everything kind of needs to be shared or whatever. But yeah, just writing things that are like personal and that you know no one will see, but you just do them because you enjoy it. But yeah, that was a realistic writing week, and thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye.